Hey everybody, Jay here. Before we get into this week's episode with Liz Glazer, just wanted to give y'all a quick heads up. This is my first episode that I've recorded in a bit. I have been working on this crazy show. I'll get into the details on Patreon, so subscribe if you want to hear how crazy the show I just worked on is. I say all that to say I forgot to bring a very important part of my recording setup, the audio mixer, to our recording session this week. I tried to improvise at the studio. My improvisation failed. So the audio on this episode you can still listen to it. It's not totally unsalvageable. Otherwise I wouldn't have released an episode this week. But just so you know, it's coming off of our cameras and not from direct true microphones. So it's going to sound a little bit different than usual, but good news, the episode is still great, and my friend Liz Glazer and I are about to have a wonderful conversation about a movie that I had never even heard of called Legal Eagles from 1986. So enjoy that, and I will be back with better audio quality next time. Enjoy!
Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi everybody, welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, all the way from New York, back to LA, New Jersey.
I just feel like I should. No, because the
Clarifying.
thing is, I'll say New York. Like for stand-up purposes, I say New York. There is a New Jersey scene. I don't know. I mean, I never feel like I'm in any scene, so I don't know why it would matter. I could say I'm from space and it wouldn't matter.
No, nobody would care. People would actually probably think it was very cool if you were a stand-up.
Right. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would.
Probably hard to be relatable.
I mean, you'd have to figure out the right things to talk about.
No gravity jokes.
You can't talk about space flight food.
Right, exactly.
That's happening.
Yeah.
It's Liz Glazer, everybody.
Oh, thanks, Jay Light. Let me introduce
I'll
you
take
to your own
the
podcast.
reintroduction back for my
totally.
podcast.
I'll look in your camera.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then make sure you get one. There's a vertical shot.
Oh,
too.
I'm fully aware of all of the ways I'm being recorded.
We are here. Yeah, that's This is a very. You reached out to me.
Oh, fine. You had to say that?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because I think
that's always like, because now I feel like I should leave.
No, this is what I love about when people reach out to me about a movie.
Yeah.
Is that it means that their opinion is like so crystallized about why they hate this movie, and I have found it is frequently, as is the case today, about a movie I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And did not know existed, and after watching it, wish did not exist.
Yeah.
And that's what we have today.
Did it scare you and traumatize you the way that it did me? Not the rewatch.
I don't think it did. It's Legal Eagles.
Right.
Which is a it's from the 80s, 1986.
Yeah.
Ivan Reitman directed it. Stars Robert Redford, Deborah Winger, Daryl Hannah, Terrence Stamp, Brian Dennehy.
Star-studded.
Star-studded.
Yeah.
You got Robert Redford kind of at his prime.
Oh my God. Couldn't be shirtless more.
He's got so much chest hair.
Yeah.
It's just popping out. He's wearing another shirt.
He's very sexy. I think I was straight, like, for the time that I watched this movie.
I mean, I was gay for the time I watched this movie.
I get it.
Just for Robert Redford.
I felt like...
I get it.
Right, and this is not to say anything about Ivan Reitman, who... I believe I was Facebook friends with him, which I don't mean to be a flex. I think, like, it was a time when I was bolder about Facebook friending people when I first started doing anything entertainment-wise.
Sure.
And I think we had, like, a mutual friend.
So you just
I friended him.
I'm going to click it, I'm going to poke Ivan Reitman and see what happens.
Totally. So, but I don't know him. I have no connection to him other than...
Well, no, I mean, you don't
I said
was.
To. Yeah. No, I know he's dead. And rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Ivan.
Yeah, and power and all of it. And so I say that, like, because I would never want to defame my Facebook friend, Ivan Reitman. However...
Your Facebook, now he's got a Facebook memorial page.
Right.
But Ivan Reitman.
Right. But wouldn't it be accurate to say my Facebook friend? Like, that's not inaccurate even though he's dead.
You're really lawyering it up for this movie.
I'm just asking. You were the one who objected.
I never even said. Anyway.
Yeah.
This movie's about the law. This movie is about it's sort of high concept, but not really.
Yeah,
It's
a
about
lot of fire.
There's a lot of fire.
Which was what scared me as a kid.
This
so
is what traumatized me most.
So first of all, I didn't mean to push back on you pushing back with saying that I invited myself on the podcast. I'm just always insecure. And so the idea that like I would come on someone's podcast and like, you asked to be here, I'm like, I'm so sorry. That's how that made me feel.
But this isn't fucking, like a famous podcast.
No. But I would say it if like I was at your home. It's like you invited yourself over, and then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But you were going at it from a different angle, which is to say you meant it as like, I'm so glad that you invited yourself because you have such a strong opinion.
You have such passion for
and
this
so I'm
movie
sorry, not only for inviting myself.
No one has ever heard
Correct,
of it.
I'm pretty sure. I feel like even Robert Redford and Daryl Hannah and Deborah Winger are like, wait, what movie was I in? Yeah. But although maybe they remembered it because of, like, there were some memorable scenes, and that is the reason that I picked this. So I was very afraid of this movie.
Because of the fire.
And I remembered it a little bit wrong, okay?
Okay.
So, in my memory, what?
How old were you when you watched this for the first time? You're 8 years old.
Yeah, 8 years old, visiting London with my family on a vacation, and it was on in the hotel room.
Okay.
And so it was just like on, we were, hanging out. And in my memory, they all, in the first scene, as happens, sing happy birthday to a little girl. In my memory, she was named Elizabeth, my name.
Right.
That's not true. Her middle name's Elizabeth, but her first name is Chelsea.
Yes.
But okay, so in my memory, her name was Elizabeth, wrong. They sing happy birthday to her, she blows out the candles, and the whole house burns down. That happens.
Yes.
Right? And that is like the beginning of so many fires in this movie.
Lots of fire in this movie. Fire is definitely a recurring theme.
Totally. And in, like, I have identified in my life as a person who has obsessive compulsive disorder, not to like, I don't mean it as like, this is my whole personality, it's such a bad affliction, but like, when I would read in YM, magazine.
What's YM magazine?
I think it's
again?
Young and Modern. It was like 17, I'm 42.
Okay.
That'll cancel me. So, no, I'll tell anyone. I don't care. But, I do, but I don't. I care because so many people, like, don't want to say it that I'm like, oh, you're scared of saying your real age?
Yeah.
Like, what a weird thing.
Vividly remembering a movie from the late 1980s.
Yeah. Oh, it gives me away.
It gives you away.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I was never trying to hide it. So, my age, specifically.
Sure.
Okay. Or my detest
of this movie.
Right. Yeah. So, anyway, so, like, when I would read about people having OCD, like, I did have a light bulb moment of like, oh my God, all the hand washing and like, whatever. And it did debilitate me for certain parts of my life, but I don't want to paint a picture of like, I have this thing.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
Because I'm not trying to like get attention for having the thing. However, to the extent that I did have the thing, I thought it arose from this movie specifically because I was like, first of all, I'm going to use up every birthday wish for the rest of my life to be, I hope my house doesn't burn down, which, like, first of all, now I'm scared that I said that because God forbid, oh my God, and then this is going to be,
But also, it's so tied to, I feel like, blowing out the candles on the birthday cake and then the house burning down right after that.
I know. It's really... So, I wasn't scared when I rewatched it because it's so stupid, the movie is. The thing I was going to say about my Facebook friend Ivan Reitman is...
Say away.
His estate is going to sue me. Is like... And this isn't about him, but like, did it not feel to you like someone had a really big crush on Robert Redford and was just like, we want to make a movie where he's shirtless as much as possible. It doesn't matter if there's any chemistry specifically between him and any woman in his sightline. Right. He's gonna have sex with them or whatever. Because like, I mean, him and Daryl Hannah, sure. Yeah. But I saw it coming. Yeah. But I didn't know why. The what?
It's pretty telegraphed.
Yeah. What does that mean when you say it that way?
Like,
is that
you
like
can
a term
see it
of art?
coming.
Oh, okay.
You know what a telegraph is? You're old. You know a telegraph?
I don't.
Beep, 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 with
not
the Morse
really.
code?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Man, now I feel old.
no. I don't think it's an old thing. I think it's just a me not knowing stuff.
You didn't watch enough. You should have watched more American Tail 5 Goes West.
Oh, I did see that.
They have Telegraph is a big part of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I was falling asleep like the other whatever.
Sure.
I don't know, a weekish ago when I was home, and like in my eye line was Daryl Hannah, and I slept with her. No, but was like a window of like a house that I could see as I was going to bed because the shades were open, whatever.
Sure.
And they turned on the lights off and on, and I was like, oh my God, are they communicating
It's a
in Morse
signal.
code?
They could be
Yeah,
communicating in
and
Morse
then I
code.
Googled like help in Morse code to see if I needed to call the police and whatever. That actually was the thing that allowed me to go to sleep.
SOS.
Yeah.
It's 3 dots, then 3 dashes, then 3 dots again.
So you know that because of what?
Well, so I'm gonna. This is a short. I'm gonna shorten this up as much as I can.
Yeah.
I had you know how sometimes kids will get like weird accessories. You know, like a toy that is also an item of clothing that you're supposed to kind of wear and have around.
Like a carabiner?
No, I guess a carabiner, like the
Okay.
adult version of it is like a carabiner or a
Okay.
key hook or something, right?
Yeah.
So I had a glove
Oh.
that was like a Swiss Army knife, but no knives were actually on it.
Good.
It had a bunch of stuff on it.
Okay.
Like there was a flashlight on there.
Mhm.
There was a glove, obviously. But it was fingerless, you know, so even cooler.
Yeah, like Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson
Oh, wait.
had fingers on
Okay,
his gloves.
got it.
We're thinking, who's a famous fingerless glove person?
Like a motorcycle person?
Yeah, motorcycle guy.
Okay.
You know,
got
he
it.
had fingerless gloves.
Okay.
I love motorcycle guy. Always
Yeah.
great. Anyway, but he had that had a little Morse code thing on it.
Oh.
That was a little button you could press, and it would make a telegraph beep. You know.
Okay.
And then it also had in the little wrist guard. It had, like you were a football quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You could take it and it had little Morse code symbols in there, and the one I always remember was SOS because it's It's very easy.
Okay.
And so
That's helpful.
Yes.
So, okay, on the word telegraph, and thank you for explaining help. I'm gonna now look for that in
whenever
the
you see
window.
somebody
Yeah.
flashing the lights at you,
Three.
but it's 3 short, 3 long, so they have to go flash, flash, flash.
Yeah,
No.
it's like Rosh Hashanah with the shofar.
Is that what that is? Is that people blowing help
Yeah.
over
Wouldn't
the
that be
shofar?
interesting? I guess to God.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Remind me, because this is
Right.
where my lack of knowledge comes in.
Yeah.
Which one is Rosh Hashanah? Which holiday?
Jewish
is
New
that?
Year.
Jewish
it's
New
like
Year.
September-ish.
Okay.
Maybe
got it.
October, depending on.
So you don't really need to call God for help then.
Well,
Probably.
I mean, it's what I think it is, and this is, I mean, I'm supposed to know everything about Jewish stuff, and I know some stuff, like, oddly well, because I went to school to know exactly what I'm doing wrong at all times, basically.
Okay.
And so, like, I went to Orthodox Jewish day school, so I know all these rules, but, like, it was childhood, so I, like, don't actually know them. Like, I don't know, you seem like you've taken information, and then you're like, and now I can explain to other people what help is in Morse code.
Yes.
I'm like, I have a vague idea of like what happened in the Bible, but like it's also going to be infused with whatever I was daydreaming about at the time.
See, the problem is I'm just a repository of all of this useless stuff.
Right, but you know it enough to be right when you retell it.
But why does
That's what I'm
anyone
saying.
need to know it?
First of all, because they might be
Speaking
they
of
need
people.
help. You literally said,
What did it have to do with Daryl Hannah again? We got very off track.
do we need to be on track? Is that the reason?
We don't have to.
No.
I
it's
did
okay.
say
I'll
right
get
before
back to
this podcast
okay,
is very
the
loose.
reason I was saying it, you say the podcast is loose, but you're like,
And then
wait
I'm
a
like,
minute,
wait a minute.
you're a traffic cop.
We're going way off track
Right,
talking about
okay,
Morse
I'll
code.
get on, okay.
No,
fine.
but I'm intrigued. But I do want to know what
Fine,
this has
okay.
to do with Daryl Hannah.
Well, I was gonna say that my OCD, I attributed to being caused by this movie.
Oh yeah, sure.
So that's why I was saying it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't specifically about Daryl Hannah,
But-
although I was scared of her for my whole life,
You were scared of Daryl Hannah?
because she was in this movie.
And because she was the one who was adjacent to the fire.
Yeah, and also
You
the
feel like
only
she was
one
a
I
bad
remember.
omen?
The what?
She was a bad omen, you feel like?
I just like, I was like, everything about that movie is so scary because of the fire.
Did it also make you hate art? because this movie is about art.
Was it art? No,
It's not, the movie is not an art piece itself.
Correct. No, I know they're talking about
But
art.
it's like it's a really weird, like it's weirdly, I guess pretentious is probably the best word.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's centered on like the fine art world.
Right.
And all about this artist who.
An expensive art.
He's exactly expensive art. There's a lot of like
that's
Picassos. There's Mondrian. There's
I don't know who that is, but yeah.
He's the guy who does all the grids.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Got it.
He's one of those guys. He's like a modern artist where they're like, I could do that. My kid could do that.
Oh,
you know?
but
He's
you
one of those
can't.
guys. But
Yeah,
you can't.
right.
Warhol shows up in this.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But this movie, it's weirdly pretentious.
Yeah.
There's a lot of art. I can see
Yeah.
why this would also make you hate art, potentially, if you hated fire.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
hated. I thought it was very scary that the house burned down. That's it. That's the reason that I was scared of the movie, and I'm prepared to talk about other aspects of the movie. Okay, so
This traumatized you, though.
it did. But after I saw it, I'm like, I think I was just predisposed to like being scared of whatever, fire, you know.
Sure. It's a scary thing.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a very dramatic fire. You know, I feel
Yeah.
like the special effects, honestly, those hold up.
Really
I
good
didn't-
fire.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think about it, but like this is an old movie,
So
and
they really had fire.
Oh, is that what that means?
Probably.
Okay.
I think
I
this is
believe you.
before fire was CGI.
See, here you go with knowing stuff again.
Well, no, this is a guess. This is an educated guess.
Okay, but like I wouldn't even be able to take it this far. I'm just like, it looked real.
It probably was real.
Yeah, but so if it's real, then like, do they? How do you not burn?
Stuntmen.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
just,
they
like-
might get burned.
right.
I don't know. This is the side of the industry that I don't know a ton about,
Okay, fine.
unfortunately.
Okay.
But it looked real.
There were a lot of stunt people, which I wasn't surprising, like in the
Yeah.
credits and stuff.
There's a lot of, anytime you have fire, you gotta have stunt people on set.
Right. Okay, but it did look real, and it was 1986, which I'm guessing means it was pretty high tech in 1986.
Probably.
If in 2022 it still looks good.
Yes.
Okay, that was my point.
In fire now,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have a lot of real fire. It's all gonna
Okay.
be green screen. You're gonna be
Oh,
shot
yeah.
in an entire green screen.
So it
room.
actually would look more real in 1986 than now.
Yes,
Interesting.
because they're practical.
Ah,
Practical
right.
effects.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Ah.
this
As
is
opposed to special.
yes. Well, it's still special, but it's
Yeah.
a practical special effect,
Got it.
as opposed to somebody is drawing in all of the fire
Oh.
in
Yeah. Okay. Got
in whatever software people use.
Okay.
I don't know what software people use to make fire happen.
Microsoft Word.
Clippy shows
Excel.
up. He's like,
Excel.
okay, would you like to, it seems like you're trying to start a fire. Would you like to make your paper more flammable? Put more
Right.
ink on
Right.
it?
And then in the middle of it, it's like update now for whatever. I don't know. I'm just like thinking. about
Subscribe
software.
to get
Yeah.
more fire. The Microsoft subscription package.
Yeah.
So you watched this movie as a child,
Yeah.
traumatized.
Yeah.
You watch it again as an adult.
Yeah, because I had quite a day on the day. So it was the 4-year anniversary when I got mugged at gunpoint in LA
Oh boy.
on June 1st.
Okay.
And on that day, I went to a gun range, which is not, with an instructor, and I
Sure.
didn't shoot with a bullet, which is not
You
just
just
something.
shoot with blanks?
I didn't shoot with anything. I just
Oh.
the instructor was like, okay, here's how to do everything. You can shoot, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to shoot with a bullet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but everybody else. Have you ever been to a gun range? Oh, you've
No,
done
I've
sex
shot
guns.
guns before, but
Okay.
I've never actually been to like a proper range.
Just in like a house.
Outside of the house.
Right.
We're not shooting
In a
guns
podcast
inside.
studio. Yeah.
We're shooting them in the comedy mothership, Joe Rogan's Gun Range
Sure.
/ Comedy Club.
Oh, is that right?
No,
Oh, okay.
this is me. We call this riffing in the
Got it.
industry.
Well, I know, but I didn't know because you're all about the facts. That I'm like, I didn't know. In general, I'm very gullible.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yes, and I
Gullible?
understand the irony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, here we go. But no, I've never been to a proper gun range. I've shot skeet before.
Okay.
You know what that is? Do you know the little clay pigeons? Have you seen those?
Oh, in duck hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are that's called shooting skeet,
Okay.
and you shoot them usually with a shotgun. But you can
Sure,
shoot with, like,
sure.
other guns.
Yeah. So I did that, and it was interesting to go to. Did you know that there's like people who work at the gun range that like sweep up the casings like it's hair at the salon? That was very funny to me.
So I guess somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, that's so funny. They call ceasefire. That was like my favorite time at the gun range was ceasefire. But then after a while, I was like, I can't even think unless somebody's like actively shooting. So anyway,
that's a pretty good job because at least they stop the people from shooting at you, unlike at like a driving range, where you're driving in the cart and they don't stop the people from swinging.
Oh, yeah. So it's better.
It's much better that way.
Yeah, totally.
It's good.
But anyway, I just like, I know somebody who teaches how to do, it's a for actors, like firearms training for actors thing. And so, so you get like footage or whatever. And the guy who's my friend, who teaches was like, I was like, I don't want to shoot with a bullet. He's like, honestly, I could probably make it so it sounds and looks like you did, even though you didn't.
Okay.
Which I was like, first of all, if that's the case, then why would we ever shoot with bullets in a movie? Because I'm like, if he can do that, then we'll have to see the video.
We got to see the video.
We have to see the video because, we want it, now my new standard for effects, special or practical, because I'm still not 100% sure what the difference is, then
there's an overlap. It's a Venn diagram.
Okay, got it. Okay. But is Legal Eagles. That's my new standard. Unless it looks as real as the fire in Legal Eagles, I don't buy it.
Okay.
Because, and I know we're supposed to talk about movies we hate. I do hate the movie, okay? But there are redeeming qualities, and I would say that the effects.
Yeah, the effects are good.
Yeah.
In a comedy thriller movie, which, by the way, very light on the comedy, very heavy on the thriller.
Totally.
Which I don't hate.
Yeah, I think there were moments like Robert Redford is a good actor.
Yes.
And that was evidence.
And Deborah Winger's a good actress.
Totally.
Good actor.
Totally.
I think they're supposed to say actor all the time.
Yeah.
But Deborah Winger's good.
Totally.
Good performance. She's already coming off of 3 Oscar nominations at this point.
Oh, by the time
this happened. She had already gotten an Oscar nomination for Terms of Endearment.
Okay.
And 2 other things that I can't remember.
I didn't love her character in this because I think it was, I'm not gonna be like saying everything is sexist all the time, but I think that this movie, you're like, this does not translate.
No, well, it's the 80s.
Yeah, every single time a woman in this movie does a thing, they're like, shut up, what do you have to say, man? Like, every single time.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and so that's unfortunate because, she does what is good with the character, and the character is written, so okay, it's not her fault.
Right.
But
it's stupid.
But that, it's stupid.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's not the best, at a time when I know there are other movies out there that are comedies where you have a woman in power,
right,
who you don't have to have sexism be like the make her the butt of the joke.
Yeah, totally. Right. Like, I was just like, do we need that element? And even the scene, first of all, the scene that made no sense was when they're chasing the guy and they have the fight in the car that they get out.
Near the end of the movie.
Yeah, towards the end of the movie, they're in a car chase. Allegedly.
Where Deborah Winger goes down the wrong side of a one-way street.
Right, and ends up, which actually she is a deft driver.
Yes.
Having said in a prior scene after, I guess they call it backseat driving, right? Where she's like criticizing Robert Redford's driving.
Right.
Then he's like, well, what do you want to drive? And then she's like, oh wait, I can't, I'm a woman, or whatever, right? And then...
that's probably the exact dialogue that happened.
Yeah, which is why she gets all of her
I'm a woman, I can't drive, I am a high-powered lawyer.
Right.
But I can't drive because I'm a woman.
Totally. And
that's
only,
the dialogue.
Right, 100%. But anyway, despite the fact that they're allegedly in these high stakes in a car chase, and that the guy would be kind of close to them, we hope, or else they would have been upset that they lost him.
Theoretically.
Right. They get out of the car to have the fight about who's going to drive.
Right.
And it's funny in the sense that it is kind of like, slapsticky, like there's a lightness to it.
Yeah.
But I was like, of any of the scenes in this movie to have this kind of energy, it makes no sense.
Yes.
That it would be right here.
Well, this is also, and this is one of the big problems I had with the labeling of this movie as a comedy. You've got Ivan Reitman directing it. I'm sure that it was marketed as a comedy.
Right.
The name is a funny sounding name, Legal Eagles. That's a funny sounding name.
I didn't get
No, it's just because they're lawyers.
Right.
That's
it.
Yeah. But it's a PG movie, and I think it's really hard. Granted, this is before PG-13 was a thing. This was still when PG was still had teeth to it, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of sex that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
You got Robert Redford waking up in bed with
out of
nowhere.
Nowhere.
And
even though you at some point in the movie you're like, okay, he's in the scene, so it's gonna have some sexual innuendo. But like, do you remember when it is revealed that Daryl Hannah was sleeping with the guy with Taft,
yeah.
right? She didn't kill him. Brian Denny, he did, whatever.
Right.
But we don't know that yet. So and they're like, Robert Redford's like, I believe her, and then Deborah Winger says, I believe her too. But like, They look like they're about to kiss for the entire time, and it's like, that's the thing where I was saying about my Facebook friend Ivan Reitman. Whatever clips you're gonna cut, it's just like Liz Glazer. Cancel her, and all she does is name drop a dead person who she Facebook friended unwarrantedly, and she's still talking about the fact that he's her Facebook friend.
Yes.
Because I think, or the memoriam page. But anyway, so what was I gonna say? Shoot.
I don't know what you were gonna say.
No.
I was along for the ride with you.
Thank you, Jay.
I wasn't keeping track.
Yeah, but
I mean, we were talking about Robert Redford having sexual tension with every single woman.
Yeah. That basically it's like he wanted to make a porn, or someone wanted to make a porn with Robert Redford. And this is the best that they could do, given that they also, I guess, wanted to make some money on the movie and have it be in movie theaters and be PG and not XXX. And, obviously he's not doing that.
But this is also the problem with, like, doing a comedy that is PG. Mm-hmm. Where it is something that's supposed to be like fun for the whole family, is it's hard to actually write jokes for that.
Right.
And I say that as somebody who's watched a lot of movies that are G or PG that have really good joke writing in them.
Yeah.
Like I just watched yesterday the new Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie.
Oh, is that in theaters now?
No, it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, cool.
They should have put it in theaters. It's good enough to be in theaters and not just be something on streaming that you see as a lark.
Okay.
I thought that the joke writing in there, especially for a movie that is a PG rated movie, it's really well crafted. Good jokes.
Yeah.
And not only just like good visual jokes, which is kind of the hallmark of a good animated movie, I think, but also a lot of really great like written dialogue jokes.
Right.
In this movie, there's like at one point, this is a note I have written down.
Yeah.
Good comedy at the kid mom part when Daryl Hannah shows up soaking wet and changes clothes.
Yeah.
And the mom comes to Robert Redford's place and sees the Daryl Hannah scantily clad in a towel or whatever.
She's also always wet in the movie.
She's always wet.
100%.
Constantly wet in this movie. Sexism.
For a fire movie.
Come on.
Also, yeah, totally.
But that's the part, like, the kid saying this stuff about whatever she says about Daryl Hannah's character. That's probably the best comedy in the whole movie. Yeah. And it took almost an hour and 15 minutes to get to that part of a 2-hour-long movie.
Yeah.
You should have better comedy.
Yeah.
You don't have to have this movie that you're saying is a comedy just because it's kind of lighthearted and because there's people making goo-goo eyes at each other.
For sure. I mean, and they could have put in comedy in the birthday scene right at the top. Now I feel like I want to specifically think of a joke, but I mean, it literally could have been anything. Just to give a feeling of a lighthearted birthday, which then would have supported the reversal of the vibe.
Yes.
With the fire.
Because that's the other thing too. For a movie that's supposed to be a comedy, it starts off with somebody losing their dad in a house fire.
Yes.
That's
terrifying.
Have you seen Hereditary or Midsommar?
No.
Okay.
Because this movie ruined scary movies for me, Jay, so that I didn't watch anything. I mean, the opening scene of Scream is funnier than the opening scene of this comedy thriller movie. Yes. Screams are funny.
But that's the thing. This is a comedy.
Right. I know.
It should be funny.
I know.
It shouldn't start out with the same level of trauma as what happens in Hereditary, what happens in Midsommar.
Which is bad.
Okay. Both those movies, I love both those movies, and part of why I love them is because they start off by going full throttle, gas pedal fully down on some really dark, fucked up stuff happening to the characters. Okay. Which is kind of what happens here. Yeah. Not even kinda. It's exactly what happens here.
It's really bad.
She watches her dad burn alive in a house fire.
Yeah.
And she's 8.
Yeah.
And also she loses her painting. Sad.
Right. It's super sad.
And then roll titles, directed by Ivan Reitman.
Oh, yeah, I know. The other thing, too, so I sleep with a baby blanket.
Okay.
I have always. Pachi is
OCD
name.
thing? Or
What?
just like a comfort thing?
What's the first choice?
Is it an OCD related thing?
Oh, no. I mean,
Okay.
probably, maybe. I don't know, but I have forever.
Sure.
She loses the baby blanket.
Oh, yeah.
And that
Tough
trip,
time.
that trip in London, my baby blanket was in the sheets of the bed, and my parents had to call the hotel laundry housekeeping situation to get the baby blanket back. And so I was specifically scared of that.
Never did.
No, we got it back.
You got it back.
Yeah, we got it back.
I was worried that you weren't going to get it back.
Oh, yeah, but I would concoct terror fantasies as a kid of we'll be driving and all of a sudden the door to the car will open and I will have my baby blanket and it'll be on the street and would I go get it and all these things. And I think when I saw the fire scene at the beginning of this movie, I was oh, she doesn't get the baby blanket. For me, that was a big plot point. Because that was where my interest
Right.
lay.
Well, you were really focused in on the 8-year-old character
Correct.
of this movie
Yes.
as an analog to you.
Yes.
So I can see why you glossed over a bunch of stuff that now you watch as an adult and you're oh, this other stuff was also pretty bad.
Right. And also it was just not a great film. Right?
I mean, this is some reviews from at the time.
Oh, fun.
We've got Roger Ebert, who hit or miss as a critic, for my taste, but he nails it here. Reitman seems to be covering his bets by combining the story of legal eagles with the action and pyrotechnics of Ghostbusters. After the fires, explosions, chase scenes, shootouts, ambushes, and dead bodies, the movie's human story seems sort of lonely and forlorn. The extra ingredients make a potentially better movie into a confused, overloaded, and disjointed one.
Yeah, that feels correct.
And this is something I think I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I have in your notes here when you talk to Ben, our producer, when he asked you if there's anything this movie could have done differently that would have made you like it, you said no, not until he wrote N/A for not applicable. And I have a question for you, because one of the things that I would change about this movie is I don't think you need the romance between Robert Redford and Deborah Winger.
I agree.
I think that comes out of nowhere.
I think it's in order to make him seem less gross, even though it makes him seem more gross.
It does.
Yeah.
I liked his character less when, and also because it's not brought up by him.
Right.
His daughter is I see you making eyes at my dad. I see the way you guys look at each other.
Yeah.
And I'm I didn't pick up on that.
Right.
Why is this coming from the mouth of a child?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. Right. Well, because of the crush on Robert Redford. Because anybody near Robert Redford would love him.
Yeah.
According to this
movie.
According to the movie.
And probably to every movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of Robert Redford movies.
Same.
But I get it.
Yeah, he's great. And I walked away from this movie thinking he's a really good actor.
Yes.
And so that's cool.
You know,
not that he needs me.
Interesting tidbit about this movie, by the way. So when it was written, originally it was written as a buddy comedy for Bill Murray.
This?
Yes.
Okay.
And another guy, I forget who. It might have been Dan Aykroyd or somebody else from the Ghostbusters Ivan Reitman universe.
Sure.
But they switched it and made Robert Redford the lead because this is an Ivan Reitman quote. Robert Redford was easier to book than Bill Murray.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably just because he wouldn't answer his phone or something.
I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know if this is before the Bill Murray having only an answering machine thing.
Right.
But I mean, it says a lot when you're downgrading from Bill Murray to get Robert Redford, who's still a great actor and
he's such a movie star.
He does his best in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's kind of doing the best with what they're given, which is unfortunate that this movie just doesn't really, it's not really giving them a whole lot.
Yeah. I also realized, I didn't realize this before, but when I look back at my scary movie history of my whole life, the scariest movies are this one and Ghostbusters 2. And I just now realized that they're both Ivan Reitman movies.
Yeah.
My Facebook friend scared me.
Have you been scared by any other Ivan Reitman movies, like Animal House?
Oh, I don't think so.
Meatballs?
No.
Stripes?
Uh-uh.
Ghostbusters 1?
No.
Space Jam.
No.
I was scared by Space Jam too.
Really?
That's a scary movie.
Oh.
It's just scary bad.
Oh.
It's very
Okay.
bad. Don't
Got
watch
it.
it. Watch Chippendale Rescue Rangers instead.
Yeah.
Way better.
Great joke writing.
Great joke writing. Great performing. Here's something. By the way, I just want to quote like the most insane good review of this movie, because also somehow this did good numbers at the box office.
Oh.
It had a budget of about $40 million. It made $93.2 million.
Great.
Crazy.
Yeah.
For a movie that nobody remembers.
Yeah.
And I
Except
doubt
me.
Except you.
I think about it every day.
It's seared into your brain.
Yeah.
This is from Bob Thomas of the Associated Press, and I just want to hear what you think of this review.
Sure.
Okay. Just when you thought that sophistication had vanished from the silver screen, along comes the legal eagles to gladden the heart and charge the intellect.
What? Really?
That's Bob Thomas of the Associated Press about legal eagles.
Wow.
Gladden the heart.
The music
and
I thought
charge
was
the
great.
intellect.
Did you notice the score?
I guess.
Because
I don't really remember it now.
I was noticing it, and I don't know exactly why. I guess maybe I've been like thinking about that.
About score.
Yeah, like scores in things that I watch. Like,
Sure.
you know, like this, even Instagram video, like it has music underneath it, and so maybe that's the reason that I'm responding to it in a specific way. So I've just been thinking about it, and when I saw this movie, I mean, number one, it's super like anticipatory and telling, and you know,
Yes.
like, okay, this is going to be scary because I heard that, whatever.
Yeah, you've got the
know?
sting. You're going to
Yeah.
have some sort of
Right.
thrillery
But
moment about to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But the happy parts, I appreciate it because I'm like, oh, I enjoy watching Robert Redford in an apartment, like tap dancing or, you know, whatever the scene with like, this is what he does when he can't sleep.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the joke that tried too hard to keep coming
They
back.
really tried hard to keep that coming back. And for no reason. Why do you have that happening, and then why do you have Deborah Winger just like eating herself and drinking herself into a coma?
Because we hate women and we love Robert Redford.
Rude.
Yeah.
What movie should people watch instead of Legal Eagles? By the way, it's hard to find Legal Eagles, so don't even try and find it.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Unless you want to shell out like $5
Yeah.
for renting it on YouTube or whatever your streaming service of choices, don't.
Right.
But what should they watch instead?
Well, I mean, my first response was and is Legally Blonde. Even though it's not a thriller, but I was just like, when I was watching the courtroom scenes, I was like, I wish this was Legally Blonde. I wish it was My Cousin Vinny. You know, but I guess that's like a generic answer of like, what are better courtroom movies?
Sure.
You know?
Because this is also, it's not really a
Philadelphia.
court movie.
Right, but
There's a lot of courtroom
court.
scenes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of court that happens.
Yeah.
But it's hard to like even classify because I feel like those movies, I'm sure, are more overtly what this movie could have been, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a good, funny courtroom comedy.
Totally. Right. I mean, I think the Thomas Crown Affair is like the best analog for like the, you know, a movie about stealing art.
Sure.
You know, not that I don't even really remember so much about that movie, but I feel like I hated it less. It didn't make the kind of impression. Just honestly, any movie that doesn't have a character whose house burns down that is on the television in a hotel room when you're 8 and already prone to OCD. Literally anything that's not that would have been better. But I appreciate that I was able to, on June 1st, you know, which happened to be the anniversary of my mugging in LA, which, by the way...
You were able to burn your mother's house down.
I wish. No, I'm just kidding. That'll cancel me. But, no, I don't wish that. But, like, you know, it was a day of tackling fears.
Yes.
I guess. And I was grateful not only to be able to talk to you about this and in general, but also to, like, rewatch it and realize, like, okay, so it's not so scary, this thing that freaked me out.
Sure.
You know, that I couldn't even go near.
Yeah.
Type of feeling.
That's growth. That's growth, Liz.
Thanks, Jay.
Liz growing.
Yeah, so that's how I felt about it.
Well, I'm glad that you managed to see through this movie's veil of fear that it had cast over you and just realize it's a pretty average movie.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, if, I suppose, like, from an acting standpoint, if you want to watch people do the best with what they have, which I feel like as an actor, that's something
That's admirable.
to watch, because it's like sometimes the writing isn't good and you still want to have a performance that's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that absolutely happened for Robert Redford. Deborah Winger, I mean, she was good. I don't think her performance was as standout for me as his was.
No.
Daryl Hannah, I mean, that scene where she did her performance art was very weird.
But that's performance
Yeah,
art,
but
you know?
she was good at playing that.
She was good at being a weirdo.
Right. And I don't know that was like necessarily the point of her character, but it worked in the movie.
Sure.
You know, so whatever. But I mean, he was amazing.
Yes.
And it was amazing that he was able to be so amazing with something so terrible.
It makes me also, I was thinking about this yesterday. After I watched it, why do men not have chest hair in movies anymore? They should.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
I mean, I think chest hair is great.
Chest hair's great.
Yeah.
Everybody's walking around with waxed chests.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Redford is proof positive that chest hair is desirable in a man.
Totally.
And people should bring it back.
I think I support that entirely. For women too.
Why not?
Yeah.
A woman with chest hair, never seen it, but I'm intrigued to see that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I honestly, I do nair my whole body like a few times a year. And I do it.
Isn't that painful though?
No, it's not painful.
I thought nair burned on non-hair parts, non-head hair parts. I mean.
No, not really. I mean, I've been doing it for years. It's pretty. They've also, I think, like made the recipe for it better.
Gotcha.
You know, so it might have like in the 80s burned
at the time of this movie. That's why Robert Redford never nared his chest.
Right. It was like a fire. So it was exactly like this movie. But now it's whatever. Yeah. It's like pretty mild. I'm sure it gives you terrible diseases.
Probably.
But I do it, and I do it like because it makes me feel like cleaner, I guess. Nobody cares. I don't think my wife cares.
But you care.
Yeah, but I don't have chest hair specifically, you know. But I guess if I did, I would nair it because I nair not the head of my hair or eyebrows, but you know, whatever. I don't know.
This podcast is sponsored by Nair.
Yes.
And Liz, thank you so much.
Oh my God, it's actually Veet. It's not Nair.
That's the answer. It's Veet. That's the one. Now this podcast is sponsored by Veet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
for bringing this to us. And by the way, where can people find you on the internet if they want to?
Just Google me.
Just Google you?
Yeah. That's honestly
Liz
that's
Glazer,
the kind of no, but that's the thing is like that. I think is the fan that it's the fan that I am. Is like
just Google,
find everything, watch it till 3 a.m, and then wake up groggy.
Right. This is a goal of my life since I was a child. Yeah. And I decided to go into the entertainment industry.
Sure.
Was to be the first search result for J Light, because there are 2 other ones that I know of that exist.
I know.
And I have achieved that.
Oh, good.
So
SEO, is that what that's called?
I guess, search engine optimization.
Yeah.
But watch out, former dean of the Harvard Business School.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's an oboist.
Okay.
Who's also a J Light.
Right.
He's got a book.
Oh.
Good for him.
About oboing?
Yeah.
Wow.
About how to be the best oboist possible.
Wow. I hope they watch this.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
This is what we call.
But you shouldn't put it out. This has got to be on the Patreon because then you're gonna give them higher SEO.
I guess. Is that how SEO works?
You think I know? Literally anything you've asked me this entire podcast, I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, you do know what your fan wants, which is to Google Liz. So Google Liz Glazer.
Yeah, you can go to dearlizglazer.com. I'm Liz Glazer on TikTok and Instagram, whatever. Yeah, you can find me if you want to find me.
You can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for sure.
I always thought that was so clever. Diet J.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because you're J Light.
Yeah.
It's great.
It used to be my opener. Half the calories of fat a regular drink.
Oh, that's
but all
so
the flavor. Ayo.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get in the way of your promotion. I just wanted to highlight how much I like it.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
I hope you all like it at home. You can find Blockbusting at Blockbusting Pod on all of the social medias. Please subscribe on Patreon if you like the show. If you don't subscribe on Patreon, tell a friend. And that's really all I can ask.
Yeah.
And I can do one more thing, which is thank you again, Liz.
Thank you again, Jay.
This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.